This is QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM. I'm Umudu Gajaga, and thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. President Barrow on Tuesday inaugurated the National Data Center and launched the country's first national identity management system, GAM-ID. The Gambia will migrate from a 7-digit to a 9-digit national mobile numbering system at midnight on September 4, 2026, in a move aimed at expanding the country's telecommunications capacity. First Bank Gambia has opened a new branch in Brussi, expanding access to convenient and efficient banking services for residents, businesses and customers in the rapidly growing area while bringing banking services closer to the community. The Gambia Maritime Administration joined the rest of the world in commemorating the Day of the Seafarer on Tuesday to recognize the invaluable contributions of seafarers to global trade, maritime transport and the world economy. In international news, catastrophic flash floods brought on by heavier than normal rainfall have paralyzed Ghana's capital, Accra, claiming numerous lives and heavily impacting key commercial and residential hubs. Those were the headlines, now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. The Gambia has entered a new era of digital governance following the official inauguration of the National Data Center and the launch of the country's first national identity management system, GAM-ID, by President Adama Barrow on Tuesday. The initiative is expected to transform identity management, improve public service delivery, and strengthen national security. Usman Jatta reports.
For decades, obtaining a national identity card was a frustrating experience for many Gambians, often involving repeated visits and months of waiting. That chapter is now set to close. The National Identity Management System, delivered through a public-private partnership between the Government of the Gambia and the Margins ID Group, introduces a single trusted identity for every eligible Gambian, while laying the foundation for a modern digital economy. Professor Abdulkarim Jallo, Director General of GICTA, says the new infrastructure will modernize government services and provide a secure digital identity platform for citizens.
With digital ID, Your Excellency, residents and citizens expect a future where citizens no longer repeatedly submit the same identity information to different institutions. We expect a government system to progressively become connected, enabling faster, more efficient, and more trusted public services. We expect to strengthen inclusion, improve planning and decision-making, and reduce duplication and fraud.
The system enables Gambians aged 18 years and above to enroll and instantly receive a 10-year biometric ECOWAS identity card, replacing a process that once took weeks or even months. Moses Kwesi Biden Jr., founder and CEO of Margins ID Group, says the platform will unlock financial inclusion, simplify access to services and support economic growth through trusted digital identity.
The outcomes of how this foundational database is to produce two very important outcomes. One of them is to build a platform for similar government services, as I've mentioned, and the other is actually to build an e-commerce platform and a financial and social digital interface system that allows people to do business remotely in this new world without being in person. That builds the trust to ensure that the person at the end of a transaction is who he claims to be, not a fraudster.
Launching the project, President Adama Barrow described identity as a cornerstone of national development. He said the unified register will eliminate duplication across government institutions, improve planning and service delivery, and ensure that citizens' data remains protected within the Gambia under national laws.
This system gives every Gambian due prominence within our national system, and it creates a foundation of greater inclusion, opportunity, and development. From today, Gambians aged 18 years and above can register and receive new dual interface biometric ECOWAS identification card instantly.
Significantly, the platform seeks to strengthen border management, combat identity fraud, support future e-government services, and decentralize registration nationwide. The launch marks a significant milestone in the Gambia's journey towards a more secure, inclusive, and digitally connected future. Osman Jata, QTV News.
The Gambia will migrate from a 7-digit to a 9-digit national mobile numbering system at midnight on September 4, 2026, in a landmark reform aimed at expanding the country's telecommunications capacity and meeting the growing demand for mobile and digital communication services. Loli M. Camara has more.
The nationwide transition, which takes effect at midnight on September 4, 2026, is being spearheaded by the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, PURA, and will affect subscribers of QCell and all other GSM operators with the exception of Gamcell. Speaking at a press conference at PURA headquarters, the authority's Director General, Jogu Elba, described the migration as a historic reform that will affect every mobile user in the Gambia. He said the country's existing 7-digit numbering system is nearing its capacity due to rapid population growth and increasing demand for telecommunications services. According to Ba, while the current system can accommodate up to 10 million unique numbers, the new 9-digit numbering plan will expand the capacity to 1 billion, providing ample room for future growth, technological advancement, and increased connectivity.
We said that every current 7-digit number will become a 9-digit through the addition of a 2-digit prefix at the beginning of the existing number. In an example, AfriCell that is 7, you would have 87, then plus the existing number. If it is QCell 83, for example, you would have 83 and then your current number. For AfriCell, you would for Comium, you would have 86, then plus your current existing number.
Beginning on September 4, 2026, both the existing 7-digit and the new 9-digit mobile numbers will operate concurrently during a transition period. However, from November 30, 2026, calls and text messages made using the old 7-digit format will no longer be supported, making the 9-digit numbering system mandatory for all mobile users nationwide. Consultant Nicolas Jata, who has been supporting the implementation process, said extensive technical preparations have been undertaken to ensure all networks are fully ready ahead of the September 4th migration date.
But then, from this stage, after November 30th, only 9 digits will listen. But yet again, you will have an announcement. It will tell you. Please note that QCell mobile numbers are now of 9 digits. Please call again. Your call will not go through this time. You are given 2 months. But then after this thing, you say.
PURA's Director of Consumer Affairs, Jamila Tusaidi, reassured consumers that a nationwide public awareness campaign will be rolled out in the coming months to educate subscribers about the new numbering system and provide guidance on updating contact information, mobile devices, and other communication systems ahead of the migration.
As far as languages, we are expected to use like the most 7 fluent languages in the country. Mandinka, Wolof, Jola, Sarahule.
As the Gambia prepares for one of the most significant reforms in its telecommunications sector, PURA says it remains committed to delivering a transparent, well-coordinated and consumer-friendly migration process that will strengthen the country's digital infrastructure and support its long-term digital transformation agenda. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
First Bank Gambia has opened a new branch in Brussi, marking another milestone in its efforts to expand access to financial services. The new facility is expected to provide convenient and efficient banking solution to residents, businesses and customers in the fast-growing Brussi area, while supporting greater financial inclusion and economic development. Jacqueline Colley tells us more.
The new First Bank branch in Brussi, located near the Logic petrol station, is expected to bring essential banking services closer to customers, reducing the need for residents and businesses to travel long distances for routine financial transactions. The branch will serve customers in Brussi, Tranquil and surrounding communities, providing easier access to banking services, faster customer support and greater convenience. The expansion is also expected to ease congestion at existing branches while enhancing service delivery and strengthening financial inclusion across the area. Here is Mbenga Ajibola, the Managing Director of First Bank Gambia Limited.
We are here to stay. We are here to make sure that we bank the high net worth individual. We help the government because we must also be a catalyst to the growth of this country. And then I want us to also understand that banking is an essential service. And that is why we make sure we are deliberate about it, to make sure that we have branches in the whole of Gambia and also in the provinces.
Usain Ungom, board chairman of the First Bank Gambia Limited, described the new branch as a reflection of the bank's commitment to bringing banking services closer to the people and supporting the Gambia's growing economy.
Gambia and financial management is in a unique position. The world is moving very rapidly toward digitization, and therefore we set this branch out, open it, to bring Gambians to a place where they can come and have financial services, both digital and physical.
Ini Ibong is the Group Deputy Managing Director of the First Bank Group, while Isa Wali served as the Brussi residents' representative.
By opening this branch today, we demonstrate our resolve and commitment towards working and growing within the Gambia, supporting the Gambian economy, supporting the customers, all of you here today, as you seek to grow and expand your businesses, both within the Gambia and the sub-region. We're very proud of what we've achieved here so far, and this is just one of the early steps that we'll be taking as we seek to expand and grow here.
Be our youth bank. Train a few young people from Brussi as intern and tellers. Nothing builds trust faster than seeing our own children behind your counters. If you do that, Brussi will do the rest. We will bank with you, we will grow with you, we will protect this branch as our own.
The new branch is expected to further promote financial inclusion by extending formal banking services to more people, particularly in growing communities such as Brussi. The development represents another milestone in First Bank's Gambia's expansion strategy, reaffirming its commitment to delivering accessible, efficient, and reliable banking solutions, supporting economic growth and community development while placing customers at the center of its services across the country. First Bank Gambia began operation in 2005 under the name International Commercial Bank (ICB). The bank was later acquired and officially rebranded under the First Bank name in 2015, marking a new chapter in its journey to strengthen its presence and services in the Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jacqueline Colley.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more national and international news stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. I am Umudu Gajaga and this is QTV News, and here are the rest of tonight's news stories. The Gambia Maritime Administration joined the rest of the world in commemorating the Day of the Seafarer on Tuesday, an annual observance marked on the 25th of June to recognize the invaluable contributions of seafarers to global trade, maritime transport and the world economy. Yafa Tugay has the details.
The celebration brought together seafarers, maritime stakeholders and officials of the Gambia Maritime Administration to honor the dedication and contributions of Gambian seafarers. This year's international theme, Carrying World Trade, Carrying Risk, recognizes the important role seafarers play in moving goods across the world despite the challenges they face at sea. Bintu Jallow Cisse, Director of Finance at the Gambia Maritime Administration, commended Gambian seafarers for their professionalism, resilience and unwavering commitment to the maritime industry, noting that their contributions continue to support the country's economic and global trade.
Behind the steady flow of commodities and goods are young men and women who endure long periods of isolation, difficult working conditions, and dangerous seas. Their courage rarely makes the headlines. Too often, society suffers from what is known in the industry as sea blindness. We depend on shipping every day. We fail to recognize the people behind it until something goes wrong.
Established by the International Maritime Organization, IMO, in 2010, the Day of the Seafarer honors the invaluable contributions of seafarers who transport more than 90% of the world's traded goods, including food, fuel, medicines, and other essential commodities, making them indispensable to global trade and economic stability. Abbas Saidi Khan, Registrar General of the Gambia Maritime Administration, said the authority is working to introduce a modernized certification system aimed at enhancing the skills, qualifications, and international competitiveness of Gambian seafarers.
This new certification approach is not merely an administrative reform. It is a commitment to transparency, ensuring every certificate is credible and globally recognized.
Abdul Sanyang, Secretary of the Gambia Sailors Association, highlighted the numerous challenges faced by seafarers, including prolonged periods away from their families, demanding working conditions, and the inherent safety risk associated with life at sea.
Risk is daily. Risk of accident, risk of unsafe vessel, risk of abandonment far from home, risk to mental health from isolation. Security is not a favor, it is life. We call for stronger protection, proper safety equipment, fair contract, and laws that ensure no sailor is left behind.
The event concluded with a message of appreciation and gratitude to all seafarers for their dedication, resilience, and unwavering commitment to keeping global trade and support chains moving, often under challenging conditions at sea. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
As the world marks the International Day of Parliamentarism today, attention is focused on the vital role of legislators in protecting human rights, strengthening democracy, and ensuring governments remain accountable to the people. Here is Julden Jai.
The Gambia joins countries around the world today in commemorating International Day of Parliamentarism, an annual observance recognizing the essential role of parliaments in promoting democracy, upholding human rights, and advancing sustainable development. Established by the United Nations in 2018, the day marks the anniversary of the founding of the Interparliamentary Union in 1989, the world's oldest global organization of national parliaments. It highlights the importance of representative, transparent, and accountable legislatures in democratic governance. This year's theme, Bring Human Rights into Focus, urges parliaments to ensure that human rights are reflected in every aspect of their work, from making laws, scrutinizing government actions, to representing the interests of citizens. It also calls for greater protection of the rights of women, children, persons with disabilities, young people, and other vulnerable groups. In the Gambia, the National Assembly has become a key institution in the country's democratic transition, exercising its constitutional mandate through lawmaking, oversight, and representation. Parliamentary committees continue to scrutinize government programs, examine public expenditure, and engage ministries and state institutions on issues ranging from healthcare and education to justice, governance, and constitutional reform. In recent years, the National Assembly has been at the center of several landmark debates and decisions that have significantly shaped the Gambia's democratic and human rights landscape. Among the most notable was Parliament's 2024 decision to reject a bill seeking to repeal the country's ban on FGM, preserving legal protections for women and girls. The National Assembly has also enacted several significant laws that have strengthened governance and accountability. These include the repeal of the criminal libel and sedition laws, a milestone for press freedom and freedom of expression, the Access to Information Act, the Anti-Corruption Act, the Victims' Reparations Act, and the law establishing the National Human Rights Commission to promote and protect fundamental rights. Other notable legislative reforms include amendments to the Elections Act, improvements to the Women's Act, and continued reforms to public finance and procurement laws to enhance accountability in the management of public resources. As the Gambia continues to consolidate its democracy, today's observance serves as a reminder that a strong, independent, and accountable parliament remains essential to protecting constitutional rights, promoting good governance, and ensuring that the voices of citizens are reflected in national decision-making. Reporting for QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
From that story by Julden Jai, coming up next is international news. Catastrophic flash floods brought on by heavier than normal rainfall have paralyzed Ghana's capital, Accra, claiming numerous lives and heavily impacting key commercial and residential hubs. Mamna Bukar has the rest of that story.
The downpour, which began late Sunday night, June 28th, and lasted for several hours before it ended on June 29th, claimed at least 13 lives, displaced hundreds of families, and caused severe structural and economic devastation across major commercial and residential sectors. In the low-lying districts of Kwame Nkrumah Circle and Adabraka, deep flood waters completely submerged ground floor homes and businesses, while firefighters simultaneously battled a major blaze at a nearby rubber factory under highly challenging conditions. In other critical areas, the inundation paralyzed Accra's transport network, collapsed a multi-story building, wiped out traders' livelihoods by destroying massive quantities of wholesale goods, and transformed residential streets into fast-flowing rivers that forced emergency responders and local volunteers to deploy boats to rescue stranded families from their rooftops. President John Dramani Mahama and an anti-flood task force conducted an inspection of the worst-hit areas to coordinate the emergency response. He stated that Accra recorded nearly triple the highest single-day rainfall recorded last year and expanded on what caused the flooding.
Accra is built between two natural bodies, the Kwapim Mountain Range and the Atlantic Ocean. And in those years, it was not a problem because Accra was a very small city. But as the population continues to increase and people continue to build, it restricts the path of the streams on their way to the Atlantic. So that's an engineering problem. We need to see how to open the channel so that the water can pass. But then there's also the other aspect, which is attitudinal and human behavior. That is dumping garbage in the drains. Even in the air, we discovered many illicit dumping sites where the wetlands are. People have gone to create a waste dumping ground, and they charge 20 cedis for the aboboya to come and fill the waste into the wetlands. And when it has filled sufficiently, they sell the land to people to come and build on it. Anytime you begin to take action and you start breaking houses, people think that government is inhumane. But when the problem arises like this flood, it affects everybody.
President Mahama, sympathizing with Ghanaians, laid out his short-term and long-term solutions to curb the issue.
We'll call a National Security Council meeting. We're asking every district to identify, together with the Works and Housing Ministry, where the blockages
in the channels as they pass through the district assemblies, so that we can earmark those places for removal. The other solution will be to decongest Accra, and that's why we're planning that we move some of the city out, that is the major government departments, and then also create a new center of growth so that our people will start building outside Accra in a new city.
The president announced that he had directed the release of contingency funds to support immediate relief efforts, stressing that achieving a flood-free Ghana will require a two-pronged approach: the government addressing critical engineering deficiencies, while citizens embrace responsible environmental practices. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
Now, before we end, here is a recap of the headlines. President Barrow on Tuesday inaugurated the National Data Center and the launch of the country's first National Identity Management System, Gamma ID. The Gambia will migrate from a 7-digit to a 9-digit national mobile numbering system at midnight on September 4, 2026, in a move aimed at expanding the country's telecommunications capacity. First Bank Gambia has opened a new branch in Brussi, expanding access to convenient and efficient banking services for residents, businesses and customers in the rapidly growing area, while bringing banking services closer to the community. The Gambia Maritime Administration joined the rest of the world in commemorating the Day of the Seafarer on Tuesday to recognize the invaluable contributions of seafarers to global trade, maritime transport and the world economy. In international news, catastrophic flash floods brought on by heavier than normal rainfall have paralyzed Ghana's capital, Accra, claiming numerous lives and heavily impacting key commercial and residential hubs. That's it for the news tonight. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night. Bye.